Yo, officially in the incinerator. Welcome to another episode of Midnight Madness, the live streams we do from time to time here on the Alerts on TV. Shout out to everybody because this is a worldwide movement. I would love for you guys and girls to become active citizens. Y'all already know how to do that. um, Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. I just decided that I do a Midnight Madness tonight, a little something something. I ain't gonna go overboard. Got a lot going on in my personal life. Congratulations to my oldest daughter for getting a master's degree. Proud of you, baby. Hope everybody out there having a good day. So I give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. Um, definitely. It's holiday time. Guys and girls got to be on alert. Got a lot going on out here. Shout out to GunTube. All the GunTubers out here that's doing their thing. Give everybody a couple minutes to get up in here. If you're catching us on the replay, also make sure you hit the likes. Also, if you're a GunTuber, I say weekly. Check your subscribers. Make sure YouTube haven't unsubscribed you because YouTube been going after a lot of us here as of late. I've already seen some people get look like 1,000 or 2,000 subs removed. Now I don't know if that's people doing it on their own or it's YouTube. With this whole algorithm thing, there are some channels, the fix is in for them and what have you. But just make sure you subscribe to whoever your favorite GunTubers are. Check and make sure from time to time because they've unsubscribed me from other channels that I had to resubscribe to. So, also, excuse me, a part of subscribing is making sure that you view the material. That helps us out a whole lot more when we getting views. So for some people, it can be very discouraging to have 1,000 people and only get 50 views. Let me say this: most channels don't get the views of the subscribers, so I want to say that as a word of encouragement, if I can. If you got 100,000 subscribers, you're not gonna always get 100,000 views. That's just the way this works. That being said, give everybody a couple more minutes to get up in here. We'll do this little short pop-up Midnight Madness. Thank goodness the weather is warming up here because it's been sub-zero temperatures for the last couple weeks. So, I want to say fuck you to the Packers. I was watching that game and I picked them to win, and they blew that fucking game. So, they had some pretty good games on today. Give everybody a couple more minutes to get up in here. We'll do like we always do at the 5-minute mark. We'll start the meat and potatoes. And we'll see how many people we can get to tap in. Yeah. Alright, we got Sean Breezy in the house. Appreciate you. I can't call it, man. I can't call it. Just doing this little Midnight Madness thing for the first time in a while. Had a little bit of time and decided, okay, I'll go ahead on and watch this. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm glad Anthony Joshua beat Jake Paul because I don't think Jake Paul is really a good boxer. And I didn't watch that fight. I didn't waste my time. I saw the highlights. That turned out to be a good thing. Now maybe we can stop seeing these bullshit boxing matches and get back to the real thing. Yeah. So give everybody another couple seconds and then we'll get started. Yeah, I heard Jake Paul got his jaw broke. Alright, let's go ahead on and get into the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about tonight. I wanted to try and do something light tonight. So I just came up with the question of what's the first gun you ever shot. Um, I understand now. For some people, it may have been legal. For some people, it may have been an illegal gun. I'm just asking, what's the first gun you ever shot? For me, I can say the first gun I ever shot was the Larson Chamberlain 25, was it 25 ACP? The little chrome nickel plated 25 with the pearl handles on the outside. Uh, for those of you who don't know, back in New Orleans, back in the days, before this tourist got killed, they used to let us shoot for New Year's. So New Year's Eve at 5:30 in the evening, the shooting would start, and it would go on to probably 7 o'clock the next morning. And nevertheless, the Larson, my uncle, had a little Larson 25 that he hold my hand. You know, I think I was probably 7 years old, 7, 8 years old at the time, and he hold my hand and let me shoot it. You know, and that's where my love for guns really came into. Like, all right, now I know what it's like to feel the pull of a trigger. I had already seen somebody killed before, but the Larson 25 was the first gun that I ever shot. And I was just wondering, what's the first gun y'all ever shot out here? That's why I just asked the question, you know, for those of you who come through. But for those of you who don't know, the Larson 25 was somewhat, let me see what I can compare it to of today's time. It's not a Glock. For any Glockies, go crazy. But it was as popular amongst the little young hood dudes as Glock was. Because back then, for those of you who don't know, back in the 80s, 90s, Glocks used to be very expensive. Glock didn't start easing down on the price until they started getting quality competition. But the 25, them little chrome 25s used to be the gun of guns, man. They had one problem. They had them little hair triggers in there, man, and oh man, it didn't take nothing for that thing to go off. They was a Sig P2, was it 320 or what Sig that is? The one that's going off by itself. Back in the 80s and 90s, that's what those was known for. And that's why when I got my hands on one, I had one I used to have under my bed. And we was out shooting basketball at Keller Park one day, man. And a friend of mine had his. And thank goodness it didn't hit him in the leg, man. His gun went off and shot a hole through his pants and it hit the ground. Yours was a Ruger? Okay, yeah, that's what's up. Ruger 9mm. Yeah, a little 25 was the first time I ever shot something. Okay, it's a Sig P320, yeah. After that, I shot the 38 Special. Was the next gun I shot after that. Saturday Night Special snub nose. And I had an uncle that had had a police trade-in, a 38 service pistol. And yeah, from there it just went crazy. But yeah, man, I think this. For people who don't get taught about guns young, as you get older, I think you should take that very serious about a 32 Larson. Yeah, okay, or you up in my age bracket. Then if you shot a Larson, you know that's Larson is straight up 80s, early 90s, or 80s, 90s. Even I think the early 2000s was the last time I saw actual Larson. Larson made a 9mm with the squeeze grip safety on it. We used to call them squeeze triggers. Yeah, 32 boy. Wow. I think most of these youngsters never heard of a 32. That's an old school gun right there, boy. A 32. If you've ever seen somebody with a 30, the Larson you shot, was it a revolver or was it a semi-automatic? That 32. I've only seen them in a revolver. I'm not sure what a semi-automatic would look like, but yeah, Larson, man. Larson was one of them companies that ain't around no more. Cobra, Larson, uh, Jimenez, Jennings. I can go on and on about all the companies that didn't last no. Hell, Remington ain't around no more. As long as Remington was out there, man. Remington, I think they selling what they got left, and that's it. Cause they can't make no guns worth of shit no more. Like I told you, my 5.97, I bought that, man, brand new. Trigger was broke in it. It's just as bad as a damn High Point. Got ready to go shoot it and it wouldn't shoot. Brought it back to the store, to the gun store I bought it from. They opened it up and said, yeah, they sent it to you with a broke trigger in there. Had to wait months to get the part in. Because they was going through this whole bankruptcy thing. Or whatever that Remington went through. Yeah, Larson 32, boy. Yeah, Jennings. Jennings, Larson, Jennings, Cobray, Intratec, Jimenez. I'm surprised High Point survived so long. Um, there's some other ones out there can't think off the top of my head, but those were the more popular ones that was around then, and they ain't around now. I tell you this: if you ever go to a gun show and you find anything that says Larson on it, Intratec, buy it. Buy it just for the nostalgia of it. That's why I bought that AB-10. I knew I was taking a chance on buying a piece of junk. And yeah, if I get a chance, I'm gonna buy me a Tech 9 with the barrel and the shroud and what have you. But that Intratec, well, everybody knows Intratec is a Jam-O-Matic, you know. Yeah, old 32 ACP. I think as of late, I think I've seen them somewhat trying to bring that 32 back. And I've seen 25 auto. Excuse me. I've seen 25 auto, man. I don't think it'd ever be as popular as it was, though. Glock got that sold up with the young people. Yeah, yeah, that Larson wasn't. I mean, it's 25. It wasn't a bad shot. Um, thing was getting one that damn just went off. So I wouldn't keep nothing in the chamber to be on the safe side. One day, I guess my mama was in the room, rest her soul, looking for something. She happened to look under my bed in the box that I had it hid in. She took that shit and chunked that shit in the fucking dumpster. When the dumpster man came. Yeah, Intratec was cheap, brand new, and if you buy one, you see why. I don't think I know anybody that has a Tech 9 that don't jam. I've seen a couple people on YouTube shoot them, and they didn't jam, but they must have modified them, man. Them things everybody knew. That was the one thing about a Tech. They was menacing looking with the barrel and the shroud on it with the holes and what have you. But as far as dependability, forget it. I mean, guys would damn near have heart attacks just from the look of the gun. So if you had one and you pointed it at somebody, you can get them to damn give you every penny that they had in their pocket, you know? But yeah, I think having this discussion is also important because we live in a world where every day somebody's being born, every day somebody's taking their first shot of a gun. And I encourage you to have these kind of healthy discussions with people that are around you, kids or what have you. Have these healthy discussions with them so they can make a choice. They can see that this is not a game and that they can find something that they get comfortable with shooting, you know. I know a lot of people make the mistake of the first time they ever shoot a gun be the one that they buy because they go and get a carry permit. And when they get to the range, they don't like the gun. They don't do well with it because it's something that they're not comfortable with. Well, I always say go and get multiple people or shoot multiple guns before you pick out something that you want to carry. Had a 380 Mac with a peroxide bottle for yeah, that 380, man, that 380 Mac, the Mac 12, that's the one that's the rarest right there. Cause they didn't make a lot of them in 380. The Cobra, the Mac series was made more in 9mm. Now, I had a Mac 11, a two-tone. There was only 200 of this particular one made, but that was before I got a gun safe, and somebody let somebody in my house and they stole it. So maybe I'll tell that story one day. But yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, that's good, man. Look, let me go ahead and address this. If you never heard me say this, I want you to hear me say this. I don't have nothing against the streets. I got nothing but respect for the streets. I respect the underworld because they keep us safe. They keep a lot of people safe more than they get the credit for. Uh, I just say I don't like the way that things have transpired in the streets, and things that have started going on with innocent people and what have you. I'm against that, but I do understand the streets keep a lot more people safe than people might think. So, but yeah, I'm glad to see you legal, man. I'm glad to see you got through that part of your life and um, got your license and got your shit, man. That way you ain't gotta be running and sling. Let me tell you something. I know what it's like to have to run and sling one. For people who don't know, New Orleans, especially in the East, it's full of creeks everywhere. Everywhere you find a creek with water in it. I tell you what, I know I didn't have to run and sling one in the creek, sling one out in that nasty, dirty water out there, and keep on running. You know, it's good to be legally armed where you ain't got to run when they come. Go on, give them your little shit, let them do their little police thing, and go about your business. Yeah, but I tell you what, in today's age, the golden age of firearms, as I call it, you got a lot of variety out there now. So you got a better chance of shooting something good, you know. Yeah, hey man, let me tell you something. In New Orleans, the Mississippi River and Lake Pontchartrain. I can't tell you what they got sitting down there. They probably got so many of them down there. All these companies that don't exist no more, a lot of them sitting at the bottom of Lake Pontchartrain and the bottom of the Mississippi River in the New Orleans area. So yeah, man, it's fun being legally armed. You ain't gotta run. You ain't gotta sling your gun. You ain't gotta hope they catch it, man. When I was a young dude, I knew the feeling of it. Um, I'm not gonna justify it and say it was right. I'm not gonna say it was wrong. It was a part of certain things at that time, and yeah, man, there ain't nothing like not having to worry. When I got legally able to buy and carry, man, I enjoyed that, and like I talk about it. I don't know how long you've been around with this channel. I got a series on here where I do encounters with law enforcement discussions, and I like to talk to people about my interactions with law enforcement throughout my life, being legally armed. Um, that way, maybe for some people, it gives you a guideline, or it gives you something to think about when you deal with law enforcement. Even though you're legally armed, you still have to be mindful of you don't know who's pulling you over, you don't know their intentions. And a lot of people in their minds think that law enforcement is okay as long as that gun is legal. And, I just like to document how and chronicle how that's not true. There's a lot of people in law enforcement that don't believe in the Second Amendment. But I don't want to get too far off the subject. Just saying, you can check that out. Put us on your playlist here. But yeah, man. I've been through it. Uh, I think I'm gonna do one maybe this week. I gotta get this truck running, man. I got so much going on. But I saw something of a guy. Sounded like he had a New York accent, and the police stopped him and Before you know it, man, police was grabbing on the man, crouching, feeling on his crotch and what have you, and oh man, and he was coming from work or what have you. It was a big thing, and he called for the ambulance, man, and uh, that that just gave me a thought about something I never really thought about. Um, that cop fondled that guy. They didn't have a reason to stop him. Um, One of the officers slapped his phone and broke his phone or what have you, broke the screen. And after they left, that guy called 911, man, and said he wanted an ambulance out there because he wanted to report a sexual assault. And them same officers showed back up, man, trying to talk to him. And he's like, nah, I want them to take me to the hospital because I'm going to report an assault. So, once he reports a sexual assault, they got to make a case about that and, make a report and what have you. And they was trying to talk him out of that. So, but anyhow, yeah, like I said, back in the days, for New Orleans, New Year's, we used to be allowed to shoot, man. And that was the first time a lot of us got to shoot for the first time. Like I said, the first gun I ever shot was a Larson 25. Then I shot a 38 snug. I remember shooting a 22. After that, it was on. After that, I don't even remember. I was an adult the first time I shot a shotgun though, cause that was too much for me. I was a real little fella, um, and I grew up in the city. I didn't grow up in the country, so all my country relatives, they was running around 8, 9 years old, 10 years old with them shotguns, and we wasn't like that in the city. So, but I just wanted to say to everybody, especially new people that's new to firearms, do your research, shoot as many guns as you can before you pick something you're gonna carry, and carry something you can handle and you comfortable with. It's like going in the gym when you're new to it and trying to lift the weight you see everybody else lifting. Maybe those people been lifting weights for years. You new. Do what makes you comfortable. Move at your pace. Well, the same thing with a firearm. If a 9mm don't make you comfortable, but a 22 do, get you a 22. You know why? There's a possibility. They say two mountains will never meet, but two people always will. Uh, I might run into you one day, and you might have to defend yourself. I'd rather you have that 22 you can control than a 9mm you can't. And instead of shooting a damn criminal, you shoot me. I catch a stray. So that's one of the things, I know a lot of people talk about safety when it comes to firearms. I always talk about this also. One of the biggest parts of safety is shooting something you comfortable with that you can handle. The size of the gun makes a difference sometimes. Don't assume that because a gun is small that it's easy to shoot. Some of these smaller guns are more snappier. That's why I don't prefer to carry too many compacts. I got the compact M&P Shield and 45 ACP. That's my movie theater gun right there. Movie theater and grocery store gun. But that's it. If I'm not going to the grocery store or the movie theater, I very seldomly carry it. I don't take it to the range much. I do take it once in a while, still to cycle it. But it's a 45 and it's compact, so I can feel it. And sometimes they make my fingers swell up. So my two fingers here, that's permanently damaged. They make them swell up. My 380, yeah. I got the SD9 VE. I like it as far as reliability. I don't like it though, the snappiness of it. I carry a full size firearm most of the time. I got the Echelon on me, the full size, and I love it. It shoots like a dream, man. It's so smooth of a shot for me. So that's why I have the talks on this channel that I have about my experiences. That's why I'm not ashamed of having any jams or whatever on the channel, because you might run into those issues, and this might give you a guideline that you can follow. So if you run into this issue, you know how to fix it. Um, I just think that is a good thing to talk about. You know, your first fight, your first time you shot, which you, and especially for us. Well, I don't want to say older, but I can say about the 35, 40 and up crowd, because a lot of the guns that was around back when we first shot guns ain't around no more. Um, so you know, that's just how that goes. Uh, like I said, 25 Larson, first thing I ever shot. You know, it was the one of the guns of guns. Even though people don't talk about it, dudes carried that little 25. I'm gonna take that little 25 with me and have that little pocket size 25. You know, so um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, you know. So before I get out of here, I just want to say I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're catching us on the replay, thank you for tuning in. Um, Make sure that you do all the YouTube stuff. You know, like, subscribe, comment, all that other stuff. Share it. Remember when you carrying, get used to carrying on your person. Try not to leave your firearms in the car if you can avoid it. Ladies, try and carry that firearm on your person and not in your purse if you can remember, if you can help it. And lastly, when it comes to safety, make sure you're carrying something you can handle, something you feel comfortable with in that occasion. If not, grab something else or go get something that you feel comfortable with. Because you always have to think about it. If you got to defend yourself out in public, you don't ever want to take out nobody innocent. So, um, man, with that being said, I appreciate y'all tuning in to this episode of Midnight Madness. This was a pop up. Uh, I'm starting to see more people come in the room. Usually, when I'm getting ready to get out, people start coming in the room, the conversation starts spewing. But yeah, I just wanted everybody to know I appreciate y'all for checking in. And whether you catch me live or on the replay, make sure you support your favorite gun tubers. Make sure you sub to their channels. Make sure you view their material. Don't feel, especially our smaller channels, it's a lot easier for us to reply back to messages than some of the bigger channels. But if you get a reply back that says me, it's me. Sometimes the answer might be kind of generic, but it's not a robot. It's me. With that being said, hit me in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this little conversation that we had. Until next time, stay safe, stay armed, stay on the high alert, and we out.